Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. See, I told you I was not going to be the world's worst vlogger anymore, and today I wanted to film a very special video which I was looking for on the internet. So I was looking for information on being pregnant and having hydrocephalus and AVP shunt. So I couldn't find any information, or just, I don't know, I probably wasn't looking at the right places, but I just couldn't find any sufficient information before I got pregnant and while I was being pregnant. So for me, it's all been everything, you know, kind of course happening for the first time because I'm pregnant for the first time as well. But like having the experience of being pregnant and having hydrocephalus as a condition is something that I wanted to talk to you about today. So first up, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Danny and I live with a chronic condition called hydrocephalus, which basically means that there is a buildup of fluid in my brain, and I have a device, like a tube, that comes from my brain and goes all the way down to the cavity that holds all of the abdominal organs, and drains the excess of fluid from my brain and into my tummy, so that it can then get absorbed and be flushed out of the body. So when I was thinking even about getting pregnant, I was kind of worried that you know, pregnancy might harm the end of the shunt in any ways, or the shunt can actually harm the baby, which was more big of a concern. So I started looking for some information, but I just really couldn't find any. I did find some information though about a lady that was pregnant, but I think her shunt was not ending at her peritoneum, so the cavity of the abdominal cavity, but in her pericard, which is the kind of tissue bag that holds the heart in, which is another way you can implant such a device. But in my particular case, I wasn't sure if the VP shunt or the hydrocephalus would be of any harm or would be of any issue to my pregnancy. So I was really looking forward to filming this video so that I could share my experience and my story. And if it could help one of you, that would be just great, because this is why I am actually filming those videos, and this is why I am making this whole channel, so that I can be helpful, and apart from being, you know, entertaining, probably also helping someone find any answers that I wasn't that lucky to find in the first place. So let's start with, even before I got pregnant, I was advised to visit my neurosurgeon in order for him to confirm that pregnancy would be okay. So I visited a neurosurgeon before my husband and I even started trying to have children, and basically they told me that I should be fine, that there shouldn't be any issue with a pregnancy, with carrying and with labor and all of that. However, they warned me that it would be nice if it were a single pregnancy, so if I would carry one child and not multiples, like 2, 3 and so on, because that might mean that because my shunt and my uterus and my abdominal organs are all wrapped into that peritoneum, yeah, which is the like, imagine a bag holding all of your abdominal organs, as well as, in my case, the uterus and the ovaries in one place. It gets pretty cramped and pretty, you know, full packed, and with my pregnancy and my grown uterus, it's getting even more and more packed, you know, along the way. And with multiples, that will be even more, so it will be more risky. So they said I should be fine, and it will be fine if I was carrying a single pregnancy. So then, as you know, if you're new here, I would share this with you, but if you're someone who's come back to my channel, you know that I did have some issues getting pregnant, and at the end my husband and I went through IVF, but it turns out this has nothing to do with hydrocephalus. That's just that were just other issues that were kind of not related to my condition. So I have a whole IVF series and a whole you know, other video explaining the reasons. I will link all of that below so that if you're interested you can see them. And I will link also my Hydrocephalus series so that if you're interested, if you have someone you know who has hydrocephalus, or if you're someone that's living with hydrocephalus, or just, you know, if you're interested, you can check them out as well. So after I was advised that everything should be fine and that it should be fine for me to get pregnant, I was relieved, and my husband and I decided that we will try to have a baby, but we, you know, wouldn't start and stress out at the very beginning and so on. So I did fall pregnant naturally, even in a period of time when we weren't really trying. Like, we weren't trying to prevent it, but we weren't really trying. And I unfortunately lost that pregnancy, so I do have a video about that as well. But then after that, we, you know, started trying, or with an aim, and unfortunately things were not happening. It took about a year after our previous loss before I got pregnant, and that was through IVF. So we did have to go through a fertility treatment, but that did not have anything to do with hydrocephalus, with me having hydrocephalus. But now that I am very much pregnant, and that, you know, this much, and that I am even closer, getting closer and closer to labor every day. So I am 31 weeks and 5 days now, and I should be giving birth at 38 weeks. I can share with you my experience, what's been so far, if, you know, I had any symptoms or anything like that related to my hydrocephalus. So in my first trimester, I was very much, you know, aware and conscious of my body. I was constantly monitoring any, you know, weird sensations, anything that was not, that I did not expect or anything like that, but there was nothing related to hydrocephalus that I had experienced. So I had no pressure in my head. I did not have any headaches or, you know, vomiting, any neurological symptoms that I was used to and I was familiar with that are related to hydrocephalus. On the other hand, I was experiencing the full-blown hormonal effects of pregnancy, from, you know, being completely in love with a series or with a book or with my dog or, you know, stuff like that, to, you know, moving on to the completely opposite pole, crying all the time, being very clingy and all of that. So I did experience all of that, but that of course has nothing to do with hydrocephalus again. And then coming up to my second trimester, actually my hormonal brain mostly was not an issue anymore and was very much relieved. So I was feeling back to normal again. I was feeling myself again. I did travel internationally, and I was, you know, again, monitoring all of my symptoms, monitoring if I could feel any pressure in my head, or if I were to see the dark spots before my eyes that were one of the first symptoms that I ever found out I was I had hydrocephalus 16 years ago. So that was one of the first symptoms that I had ever had. So I was monitoring that as well, and I did not have any issues related to hydrocephalus as well. As mentioned, because my shunt is at ending in my peritoneum, I was very I am very conscious of what's going on in there, and I know that, you know, now that my uterus has grown so much, everything, it's pushing up on my organs, so it's pushing them up, and I have very little space, for example, to breathe. I can only have very small meals as well, because I get full really quickly, but, you know, I get small meals, but many of them a day. I was thinking about that because my shunt is there as well. And now that, you know, my uterus has grown so much, where has my shunt gone? You know, I haven't visited a neurosurgeon, and I haven't gone through an MRI scan, obviously, ever since I got pregnant. Though MRI scans, by the way, are fine if you're pregnant. This is probably the, I don't know, I am not a doctor or a nurse, so yeah, I just wanted to say this as well, that I am not someone with, you know, background in neurology or neurosurgery, or I am not a midwife as well. So if you have any questions about, you know, being pregnant or any condition, please turn to your doctor. But, you know, with regards to my condition right now, I haven't visited a neurosurgeon or any doctor about it ever since I got pregnant, and I haven't done an MRI scan. I am not aware, I don't know what's going on with my shunt in my tummy. What I'm very much aware of, and which is so sweet and so nice, are the movements of my baby, and that's just, you know, the best feeling in the world. I cannot describe it even, and I cannot describe how I feel feeling it. So yeah, that's something that I can feel, but I cannot feel anything else. And I will go and see a neurosurgeon after I give birth. So this is something that I have planned for. So after I give birth, I will go and visit a neurosurgeon, probably get an MRI just to be sure that everything is fine. And I'll make sure to update you guys on that as well, because yeah, I just want to know what's going on in there. So that's with regards to my third trimester as well. Things are getting really cramped up. I have a lot of other symptoms, like, you know, being short of breath all the time, and I'm feeling, you know, really heavy, feeling really sweaty and really hot all the time. It doesn't really help that it is hot, you know, but that doesn't have anything to do with hydrocephalus as well. And then with regards to delivery, because I have hydrocephalus, my delivery will be via a planned C-section. So I was kind of prepared for that when I was diagnosed 16 years ago. So then my doctor said that if I get pregnant and if I wanted to have children, it would need to be via a C-section, because the reasoning behind that is that people with hydrocephalus tend to have an elevated pressure in the skull, so elevated skull pressure, which might, you know, be harmful to the brain. So pushing during labor and during delivery can increase that even more, and it can be even more, you know, it can pose a risk on the mother, and this can then possibly pose a risk on the baby if the mother cannot really go through the whole delivery process and labor process, and then there will need to be an emergency C-section or anything like that. So basically my planned C-section is for 6 weeks from now. However, you know, I know the babies do arrive early and this can happen. So if labor starts earlier than that, then I would need to go through an emergency C-section. So that's basically it. So I haven't really had any issues with hydrocephalus and being pregnant with a VP shunt so far. I don't know if, you know, my shunt is being, you know, pushed away in some way, or, you know, being just generally misplaced somehow or something like that within my tummy. But I will need to check that once that I have delivered, and once that, you know, baby is fine and everything is, you know, everything's good. So I'll let you know how that goes as well. But just in terms of pregnancy and, you know, how I feel with my hydrocephalus and being pregnant, it's all just been fine. I haven't had any symptoms or any issues. It's all just been a wonderful journey so far, apart from, you know, all of my anxiety and all that, but that was related to my previous loss, and also, you know, just in general, being pregnant and having chronic condition can be can make you a little bit more anxious. One thing that I have started feeling recently, and I'm not sure if that's related to my hydrocephalus, is a kind of pulsating sensation sometimes, not all the time, like sometimes at the side of my head where my shunt is coming out of. So my shunt is placed right here, then goes down my neck and down my chest into my tummy, where it flushes all the excess fluid from my brain. I don't feel that very often. I feel it, for example, once or twice a day. I can feel it if I get, you know, if I exert any kind of physical activity or something like that. When I'm walking around, or when I, you know, stand up quite abruptly, but it hasn't bothered me at all It's just one of those sensations that I can feel because I'm constantly conscious of, you know, this area here and of course this area here now that I'm pregnant. So yeah, that's one thing that I will definitely make sure to mention to my neurosurgeon once that I go in for a neurosurgeon appointment, and yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I've just had a very, you know, nice experience being pregnant. It's all just been pregnancy related, you know, symptoms, issues, anxieties and all of that. Everything is just being fine. I'm safe, baby's safe, everything is just run smoothly. So yeah, that's it. That's my experience so far. If you have any questions, or you know, you want to say hi, or just, you know, are curious and have any additional questions, please go ahead and send them in the comment section below, or you can reach out via Instagram as well. I do reply to DMs. I do reply to comments as well. So if you have any questions, or if you're interested in anything about, you know, pregnancy with hydrocephalus, I will be more than happy to respond to you. And thanks so much for joining today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.